At the turn of the 1st century, the Mediterranean world stood at a crossroads. Centuries of civil war had torn Rome apart. Generals fought generals, legions fought legions, and the old republic collapsed under the weight of endless conflict. But from the chaos emerged one man, Gaius Octavius, adopted son of Julius Caesar. In 27 BC, the Senate granted him a new title, Augustus, the Exalted One. With that, Rome transitioned from republic to empire, ushering in an era that would reshape the ancient world. What began as a city on the Tiber River was about to dominate Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. This is the story of how Rome, under its first emperors, expanded through war, diplomacy, and absolute determination, rising to the greatest extent in its history. Augustus inherited a fractured world. His first task was securing the borders of the new empire. In the north, rebellious tribes in Gaul and along the Rhine resisted Roman authority. Augustus dispatched legions to suppress uprisings, fortify frontier towns, and push deeper into Germania. In the Alpine regions, Rome faced hostile mountain tribes who attacked trade routes linking Italy to the north. Between 25 and 14 BC, Augustus launched a series of brutal campaigns into the Alps, crushing local resistance and integrating the region fully into the empire. To the east, he confronted the powerful Parthian Empire. Rather than wage open war, Augustus used diplomacy, retrieving Roman standards that had been lost in earlier battles. The symbolic victory restored Roman honor and strengthened his legitimacy. Under Augustus, Rome expanded into Egypt, Judea, and the Balkans. He reorganized the legions, built roads, and established permanent frontier defenses. The empire was stable at last, and ready to grow. Rome's greatest challenge under Augustus came from the dense forest of Germania. Determined to extend Roman rule to the Elbe River, Augustus sent General Drusus and later Tiberius to subdue the tribes. Between 12 and 6 BC, the Roman legions advanced steadily, defeating the Cherusci, Chatti, and Marcomanni. Fortresses and camps appeared along the Rhine, marking the slow transformation of Germania into a Roman frontier. But the dream of turning Germania into a Roman province was shattered in 9 AD. At the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, the Germanic leader Arminius betrayed the Romans. 3 entire legions were ambushed, surrounded, and annihilated. It was one of the worst disasters in Roman history. Augustus was devastated. He famously struck his head against the wall, crying, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." After this crushing defeat, Rome pulled back to the Rhine. Germania would remain unconquered, a permanent scar on the empire's ambitions. When Augustus died in 14 AD, his stepson, Tiberius, became emperor. Unlike his predecessor, Tiberius focused on stability rather than expansion. He launched campaigns to punish the Germanic tribes responsible for Teutoburg. Under Germanicus, the legions pushed deep into enemy territory, recovering lost eagles and avenging Rome's pride. Battles raged along the Weser River, and the Romans destroyed Arminius' coalition. But Tiberius ultimately withdrew. He recognized that holding Germania would cost too much. Instead, he reinforced the Rhine and Danube rivers as Rome's new northern frontier. Under Tiberius, the empire remained secure, wealthy, and stable, but its borders barely moved. Rome was preparing for the next generation of conquest. When Tiberius died, the empire passed to Caligula, whose chaotic rule ended quickly. After his assassination, the throne fell to Claudius, a scholar who shocked the Senate by embarking on one of Rome's boldest campaigns. In 43 AD, Claudius ordered the full invasion of Britain. The legions crossed the English Channel, defeated the Catuvellauni tribe, and captured Camulodunum, modern-day Colchester. establishing Rome's first foothold on the island. Britain became a Roman province, but pacifying it would take decades. Tribes revolted, hill forts resisted, and guerrilla warfare tore across the countryside. A new frontier was being carved up into the misty edges of the known world. After Claudius came Nero, whose rule collapsed in civil war. From the chaos rose Vespasian, founder of the Flavian dynasty. But before he became emperor, he faced a major crisis. In 66 AD, the province of Judea erupted in rebellion. Roman garrisons were slaughtered, and the entire region rose in revolt. Vespasian marched south with seasoned legions, crushing resistance city by city. When he left to seize the throne during the year of the four emperors, his son Titus continued the campaign. In 70 AD, the Romans breached the walls of Jerusalem. The Second Temple was destroyed, the rebels defeated, and Judea firmly resubjugated. The revolt was crushed, but the region would never fully recover. Vespasian restored order after years of chaos. He strengthened the army, rebuilt Rome, and began constructing the Colosseum. Militarily, he expanded Roman control in Britain, pushing deeper into Wales and northern England. His generals advanced up through the Pennines, subduing tribal coalitions and establishing new forts. The empire was stable once more, and poised for one of its greatest rulers. After Vespasian and Titus, the empire fell to Domitian, who launched major campaigns along the Danube frontier. Rome faced constant pressure from the Dacians, fierce warriors who lived across the river in modern-day Romania. Domitian fought several hard battles against them, sometimes winning, sometimes suffering heavy losses. The frontier remained tense and unstable. Domitian fortified the borders with new roads, frontier camps, and defensive lines. Despite his unpopularity in Rome, his military policies strengthened the empire's northeastern defenses, setting the stage for the coming conquest. In 98 AD, the empire was inherited by Trajan, a soldier emperor with the strategic mind of Julius Caesar and the discipline of Augustus. Trajan's first objective was to settle the score with Dacia. The Dacian king, Decebalus, had humiliated Domitian and continued to threaten Roman territory. In 101 AD, Trajan crossed the Danube with massive armies, launching the First Dacian War. Rome pushed deep into enemy territory, winning brutal battles at Tapae. But the campaign ended in a negotiated peace. Decebalus did not honor the treaty. So in 105 AD, Trajan returned, this time to finish the job. The Second Dacian War was one of the largest in Roman history. Legions marched across the stone bridges built by Apollodorus of Damascus, besieged hill fort after hill fort, and encircled Sarmizegetusa, the Dacian capital. After fierce fighting, the city fell. Decebalus took his own life, and Dacia became a Roman province. Gold mines in the region poured immense wealth into the empire, funding monuments, roads, and armies. With the Danube secure, Trajan turned east. The Parthian Empire, Rome's greatest rival, was growing bold. Trajan launched a massive campaign, conquering Armenia, northern Mesopotamia, and even capturing the Parthian capital of Ctesiphon. Roman forces reached the Persian Gulf, the furthest extent of Roman expansion. No emperor before or after would ever push the borders this far. By 117 AD, Rome stretched from Scotland to the Red Sea, from Portugal to Iraq, the largest unified empire the world had ever seen. Trajan had achieved the impossible. From Augustus's consolidation of power to Trajan's sweeping conquests, Rome transformed from a recovering republic into the superpower of ancient world. In less than 150 years, the empire expanded across 3 continents, crushing rivals, integrating cultures, and shaping the future of Europe and the Mediterranean. By 117 AD, Rome stood at its peak, an empire of roads, laws, armies, and unmatched ambition. Its rise was complete, but like all great empires, its story was far from over.